All right, Family Monado, welcome to another version of the Uncle Sankara Media platform. Well, of course, the Uncle Sankara Media platform with the program Salon Talk as today don't be the very 6th day of October 2022. We come right inside the Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs. We can talk to the Honorable Minister, we na Madam Manty Tarawalli. We get on with we of course they can catalog the work of the Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs. Madam Minister, welcome to Salon Talk from the Uncle Sankara Media platform.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Madam Minister, just tell give we listeners a brief background of your ministry.
Well, forgive a background. First of all, I'll tell you listeners there, I do, and tell them, say Adinaya so today, and I'm glad for Dinaya. Background of the ministry. The ministry came into effect in November 2019, and the president announced the creation of the ministry. Before we been get social welfare, gender and children's affairs. In November 2019, the presidency and fit for let it separate the ministry because it's been too big, it's been too loaded for get social welfare, gender and children's affairs all together, for divide them. So you get social welfare, then you also get gender and children's affairs. So the ministry became operational in 2020. January 2020. So we did now, I think to say we are coming to our third year now 2020, 2021, 2022. So now 3 years now we come to the end of our third year.
All right. So as we come into the third year, you go catalog with listeners them the work the more way this ministry they undertake. We will talk about picking them. Right? We only see, of course, I don't know if in a magic, Honorable Minister, you don't use into this ministry because we see picking them, they not be the focus in them schooling, now more of water, put water na the head, go sell for them, mama them. But I tell you, inside these 3 years, we see some differences. Just explain to the listeners.
Thank you very much. And also thank you for the observation. Inside the 3 years, really, we have done a lot. If people then they pay attention, then go see say we don't do plenty. Apart from for set up the ministry alone, for make let the ministry set up and becomes functional and operational, that in itself na big work. For some people, they even take them 1 year for do dandy. But we it not take we that long. We get into work and we start for achieve. So if you take and say from the gender perspective, I want to take gender, then I want to take children, so that we go see the different thing that we don't do. Inside gender, we look at sexual and gender-based violence, and then have been one key platform for we. And as a platform for we look at for prevent the sexual and gender-based violence, and also if it happen, how for respond to them. So for prevent them, one of the key things that we will do now for develop a male involvement strategy. We know say for do this work here, we get for bring the man there on board. We get for bring the bobo there on board. So we develop that strategy there. We train young man them, youth leader them, we train them, and we send them outside the community for let them go be advocates then for gender rights and for go talk against sexual and gender-based violence in our community. We see say that they work plenty. The results that we would get, we partner with Youth Affairs Ministry, and we see say that they give we really, really good returns. Then also we partner with the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, and we integrate inside the curriculum what we would call sexuality education. So then they teach then now and school them and let the pikin then they know the gender rights, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. What person touch me this way acceptable, what person talk to me this way acceptable. So then they learn then they now na school. So then they help for prevent sexual violence, because they learn them from small. By the time they get older, you realize say I know they do this again. The bobo them back again, they land and they at school for let them know say this what here they do or what here see somebody do, it's not acceptable. So by the time they grow older, it's also something we go do again. So then they now we don't incorporate her into the school system and they're being taught like that. Then when it comes to response, because when it happen, waiting as a government you go do. Because you're not going to say, oh, I just they prevent and not go do nothing for respond to them. When it happen, what you go do? So we done the back again, we don't put a lot of measures in place. We now have 116 as our rape hotline. We're free from every mobile network 24 hours a day. So anybody can call there. Where you call there, the lady complain, where you lady complain, will they take her from there for start the investigation. Also, we don't get one-stop centers across the country. We get now eight districts in. And then inside the one-stop center, then they provide free counseling, free medical, free legal, and also if the pikin or the woman require a safe home for pull outside, they care and go other side, we provide it and they, whilst we take the process go through so that it no go compromise situation. So we do that on the back as well. So that is also there. Then of course, as a government, we have the sexual offenses model court. We also debate at the judiciary. We also partner with them because cases then they go there and we monitor those cases for make sure say it fast track and the case they happen quickly. So that is one thing. Then it comes to the empowerment of women, because when woman empowered, especially economically, the statistics, the data na salono, na other country them, they show we say the woman they able look after himself, they able look after him picking them, we harm not the come to the picking them. Abroad and other country them, even America and England, who side poor people then get high sexual violence. Who side woman then where they not get better education, where they not get better money, sexual violence high day. But who side woman then get money, then get employment, they are economically empowered, less sexual violence. So we have also focused on the empowerment of women. How would they empower women then? So we don't set up a fund. With governments now give you the money, not to don't give you the money. Governments now we give you the money for set up a fund where now an economic empowerment fund for women them, where we they give out the money they also to women them for help them with business entrepreneurship, for let them build themselves up so that they can able for grow them business them.
Empowerment, is it loan or we will talk about empowerment now? Empower they mean for meaning go about the business.
With the empower
with any string attached.
No strings attached. Would they empower you? Would they empower you? Would they start with a woman they win a farmers? Now then first would they start with the woman they win a farmers. Now then first we begin with inside Bo. We work with woman then there. We set up a center there where we give them instruments them, equipment them, way for help them for facilitate the agriculture work for let it become go into business. We work with about 250 women farmers them. We create what we call an incubation center where they inside a bowl. That incubation center they so the farmers then where you don't get your product now there you go get packaging. You go there now for do a production added value for care and go to markets. We did that in Bo. Now we are doing another one now in Falaba.
The program now Salon Talk from the Uncle Sankara Media Platform with the live and direct at the Ministry of Gender and Children's Affairs. We talk to the Honorable Minister, Madam Manty Tarawalli. Madam Manty Tarawalli, me blame you don't put them into riot. Because when you be the talk, I not hear you talk about them vulnerable woman them. We then can sit down na country tree where all kind man go just grab them finally like that. Who's can we this ministry go help for pull them there? Or who's can we wait for empower them? Because you only talk about two man them where they go na farm. What about them disabled woman them? Then crippled woman them?
Okay, this is a very good question again. we dey work with all the woman them. We dey work with vulnerable woman them. Every woman there within a salon, we dey work with them. When we meet a disabled woman, we vulnerable, we dey work with that woman day in terms of for link that woman day, for refer that woman day to social welfare. Social welfare now they handle disabled woman them. But we go work with you, we go meet the disabled woman, we go bring the woman to safety, then we dey link her up with social welfare, where they provide tremendous services then back again for that woman day. But our job as the ministry now for able for make sure say provision day for all the woman day. The one that we able handle we self, we handle them. The one when as somebody else they handle them, we handle, then we pass on to them people, then they let them self go able for let them provide the services there and the facilities then for them one then they.
All right. The program Salon Talk from the Uncle Sankara Media Platform against my colleague Semeloko.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. My good friend Sankara. You know, you actually may not ever meet this honorable minister, a very nice lady the way we are here. And I'm really very happy for be privileged for seeing today. I think I would like for this year most of the time because listening to her, I mean, very articulate and I'm happy for seeing a minister like that. That is why I think the president chose her. Madam Minister, I mean, I just want to look at the police people, then wait and see, then get power for. Look at the family support unit. You know, it's a serious situation where I feel say whether the power adequate enough really for look at that. And at the base that one from the point of view of the culture, we own culture as against the stereotype behavior of we young girls there now. For example, waiting culture they look at waiting how woman for the eye for dress, how for do this. But then we see them with young lady there now, then way they do what they do. In terms of love affairs, in terms of marriage, in terms of even the entertainment industry. And they pull their clothes. I mean, the boys are well dressed and they play fine music. But then when you see them, then they offload everything, or even the type of clothes they wear. So those responsible behavior or irresponsible behavior, and then looking at it from the point of how the police help can able come in from coil that one. I know they see and really whether they are equipped enough, the police, I mean.
Thank you very much for that question, Dee. It's a very loaded question, but I will take me time for us see how I go able for answer them. Part of that question they requires behavioral change. Part of that question they look at the effects of certain behavior which can result in sexual violence. Part of that they also talk about teenage pregnancy. All of that in 99 questions. So we ask loaded question. So if I take teenage pregnancy, we work in partnership with the Ministry of Health. We don't create what we call adolescent hubs. Where na day inside day we get community engagement workers. We also get nurse then where they then they go na the community, then they educate young girls and they educate young boys about sexual and reproductive health. What it mean as a woman and as a man for how you for live your life, how you for take care of your health. If you want to get sex, what you for do, all of that communication they happen na the community with that group day. So in essence, what would they try for achieve now for turn the clock back? For make clear young man them and young girls they know the effect of certain behavior, so that then go take their decision based on an informed position. That they not go do no more what anybody they do, but then go see and understand what in the action they would then they take, what it mean, what in the repercussion get for B, what in the results get for B, for let them know. At the end of the day, we want to reduce teenage pregnancy. We want to reduce teenage pregnancy because when teenage pregnancy happen, basically girl picking and they suffer, even though we know say yes you can remain in school, yes parent learners are accepted in school, but we know say majority of them will not go back to school. So we want to reduce that. So what we want to reduce that, we want to reduce them by you getting the information. When you get the information for let you understand the effects of what in that they mean, within having sex at 14, 15 mean, and the law, as well as to you as an individual, within mean that can curb some of the behavior. So that's not part of the work that they do for reduce that. Then when it comes to sexual violence and about the police, we are also working in partnership with the police FSU. Inside the one-stop center there, where they talk earlier on, I say, then they provide free services inside there, and one of them is legal, and we have the FSU inside it. We also have the police, the FSU inside the one-stop center. So then they support we will work together. So when a case is reported, then self day inside with we together. Whilst psychosocial, whilst medical, whilst safe home, all, and also the police for go do the investigation, for also for prepare and package the case. We are all working together on that. Can they be capacitated to do more? Absolutely. Absolutely. That is necessary. Nobody not all reach 100% yet. We serve your ministry need support for low reach day. So absolutely they can be. And we the advocate for that, for let them self go get more support, for low able for capacitate them more with equipment, with bikes, with training, so that they go able for do more. So yes. Yeah.
All right. The program now Salon Talk from the Uncle Sankara Media Platform. Well, of course, we just get 5 minutes for wrap up this program. Madam Manty Tarawalli, Honorable Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs, and all what you just highlight to listeners them cut across the world. Now that His Excellency President Julius Maada Bio 2023, they go for a second term in office. Whose contribution in 3 years where you don't take in this office? Waiting your own contribution where you don't put into President Bill in 4 years achievements.
Now that kind of question they can ask me at this kind of time, but it's a good question. For assess we achievements, you get for look at the manifesto, you get for look at the medium-term national development plan, for see waiting being right there, for say now the promise where President Bill make and waiting we don't achieve. Now that then the assessments where you get for do. Because I can tell you say the way how my boss na talk and do, now so myself na talk and do. So all waiting he promise when a cluster 5 for woman them and girl picking them, we don't achieve them. Number 1, we talk about sexual violence for let it be inside there, for let we say I protect this for let it not happen at the country again. We don't handle that day by ensuring say we get the one-stop centers, we get the free hotline, we provide all the services there for the picking them. And also for the woman then. Inside there, it also talks about the empowerment of women. For how we for empower women. What we don't do as a ministry, which is unprecedented, one day be before. Now for ensure effective gender mainstreaming. For mainstream, waiting at the gender rights into all the legal framework them in the country. We don't begin now, we don't go far, we're not done it. But for the first time in Sierra Leone now, woman can own land and woman can inherit land anywhere in the country with no restriction. And not being it happened as a result of our mainstreaming efforts. Also for the first time in Sierra Leone, under the Mines and Minerals Act, it don't mean say every mining company now on an annual basis will do what we call a social impact assessment for let them assess their activities, then the impact of their activities on women and picking them. That they not ever been happen before. Mining company go come, it go do in mining, it go do whatever I do. Some ambog kinde na the community, it can ambog woman there, it can ambog gal picking there. We can see boku sexual violence, we can see boku rape case, teenage pregnancy, nothing not happen. Then continue. Now on an annual basis, we go know the impact of them. We go know what in they don't call, whose social impacts don't take place in our community. We go know that day, and then we as a ministry will now take remedial action. Also, for the first time in Sierra Leone, we don't, as a country, don't accept for do what you would call gender responsive budgeting. We not ever be done before. Now we don't agree that as a country, effective financial year 2023, it will be done, which means it will disaggregate. Every ministry will disaggregate. In spending, I must go per woman business, I must go per man business. So we able as a government, as a president, per budget, able say for gender affairs in this country, a cut across all ministry, this is what we don't spend. Never have been done before. So now you're able to say, as a country, they do gender work, because this not the amount where don't go to gender as a result of the responsive budgeting. So this now we don't spend on that. These are unprecedented things where they push the empowerment of women. Also, it then at the manifesto for do the gender bill. We don't prepare the gender bill. President Bio in cabinet don't approve them. I don't go lay on a parliament. By the grace of God, we expect parliament for Colway this year for no pass that bill. And then they back again is a key thing within the manifesto and also the midterm national development plan. I think so I go tap and that they enough is enough achievement for say we don't contribute to President Bio.
So finally, well, let you look at quickly in the, because the Uncle Sankara media platform understand that you be left the shores of Sierra Leone go out for push on the gender and children's affairs thing. Then just tell we listeners.
Yes, you're right. You in your information. We're not to tell it will they come back. Or only go for about a week, and will be they invite me and the United Nations General Assembly sideline events them. UNFPA be invite me. The international organization when a UNFPA the head office be invite me. Then also the European Union we also do an event. They have been invite me for I go speak and then 2 events then this. So I go speak, I go showcase Sierra Leone the work that what would they do, and from both conference them waiting commodity out glaringly is that there is tremendous international support for Sierra Leone, for President Bio, for the work what they do. I tell you, hands down, we know they appreciate her like how then they appreciate her internationally. Then they appreciate her for in leadership. Then they appreciate her for the gender rights, the way they take, the intentional steps, the way they take. They are intentional, not to by accident. Intentional support where they give to gender rights. Tremendous achievements and tremendous support. Any side where I go. Any side where I go, the talk the way I go talk all side, we are leading the way. International organizations, them, they look at we and say, you know, how can we copy Sierra Leone? When we are talking about gender based violence, we then talk about now European Union. Now they are talking about survivor-centered approach. We don't pass there. All our approaches have been survivor-centered approach. So then they ask, we say, how? Within a survivor-centered approach, I explain to them, tell them. For say, this is what you mean by survivor-centered approach. Then they copy with these European countries, African countries, that's win a small country for them, then a big country, but they were listening to what we had to say. Then went to UNFPA, then talk about bodily autonomy, and they praise Sierra Leone. That's the position they will they take. They're not CIA. For see the kind line, the kind position, the kind way how we they take a comprehensive approach for handle certain thing them. So I tell you, your listeners, that you know we might not be seeing the results of certain thing them yet. Other one them, other country the way they look we, you know, from a distance, then they see exactly who's how they go. There is a saying, say where farmer they brush grass, you know, they see who's how they go. Now the one where they behind you, now they see who's how they go. You where they at the front where they cut the grass you they go, you know they see how you far you don't go. The one where they BN, now they see how far you don't go. We know they see how far we don't go. The one that where they watch we where they BN, then they see how far we don't go. So now make them they celebrate we. Where you didn't have family, they brush the grass. You get for don't go brush, you go far. You look, you say, hey, so now so far I don't go. You don't know how you they brush you they go. You don't know how you they brush you they go. The one that where they look way from far, they knows how they go. Let we give yourself small time. When all the things are mature, we will be a different country. I can assure you of that.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's the Honorable Minister of Gender and Children's Affairs, Honorable Manty Tarawalli. We be talk to the Uncle Sankara media platform. So now we go end the program. Well, the only also we for go is to give second term to President Julius Maada Bio. I thank you all. Thank you.